A few years ago, waiting was normal. People waited in lines. People waited for buses. People waited for friends. People sat alone with their thoughts. Today, something feels different. The moment boredom appears, many people reach for their phones. Not after a minute, not after 30 seconds. Almost instantly, a notification appears, a video starts playing, a message arrives, a new recommendation appears, and before we realize it, our attention is somewhere else. Most people think this is normal. After all, technology evolves, habits change, life moves on. But what if something deeper is happening? What if the modern world is changing one of the most important human abilities, the ability to focus? Because focus is not just another skill, it is the foundation of learning, the foundation of creativity, the foundation of achievement. And today, that foundation may be under attack.
For most of history, wealth came from land. Then it came from industry. Then it came from information. Today, the most valuable resource may be something else entirely: attention. Every company wants it. Every platform wants it. Every creator wants it. Every advertiser wants it. Because attention has become the gateway to influence, and influence has become business. The average person sees thousands of messages every day: advertisements, notifications, videos, emails, headlines, recommendations, alerts. Content is no longer scarce. Content is infinite. But human attention remains limited. There are only 24 hours in a day. There is only so much focus a human mind can provide. And whenever something becomes limited, competition emerges. The modern internet is not simply competing for your time, it is competing for your attention. Every swipe, every click, every second.
Most people believe distraction is a personal failure. They blame themselves. They blame their discipline. They blame their habits. But what if distraction is not entirely your fault? What if some of the most powerful companies in history are spending billions of dollars trying to capture your attention? Not because they hate you, not because they want to harm you, but because their business depends on it. The longer you stay, the more valuable you become. The more you watch, the more money is made. The more you engage, the more the system succeeds. And this creates a powerful incentive. Build products that people cannot ignore. Build systems that keep people engaged. Build algorithms that understand human behavior better than humans understand themselves. And that is exactly what happened. Not long ago, boredom was part of everyday life. People waited without entertainment. They walked without headphones. They sat without screens. And something interesting happened during those moments. The mind wandered. Ideas appeared. Reflections emerged. Questions formed. Some of humanity's greatest insights were born during periods of boredom. Because boredom is not empty. Boredom creates mental space. But modern technology has changed the relationship between humans and boredom. Today, the moment boredom appears, it is often eliminated. A quick scroll, a short video, a notification, a message, a meme, a recommendation. The brain never gets the chance to sit in silence. And silence once played an important role in human thinking. Many people say they cannot focus anymore. But perhaps the problem began long before focus disappeared. Perhaps the problem began when boredom disappeared.
Human brains evolved in a very different world, a world without smartphones, without social media, without endless content. For most of history, rewards arrived slowly. Food required effort, knowledge required effort, relationships required effort, achievement required effort. But digital platforms introduced something new:
instant rewards, a new like, a new comment, a new message, a new video, a new piece of content. Every interaction carries the possibility of something interesting, and uncertainty makes rewards more powerful because the brain loves anticipation. You do not know what the next video will be. You do not know what the next notification contains. You do not know what appears after the next swipe. So you keep scrolling, not because you are weak, because your brain is responding exactly as it evolved to respond. The problem is that ancient biology now exists inside a modern attention economy, and those two systems were never designed for each other.
Imagine two companies. One sells products, the other sells attention. The first company wants customers. The second company wants engagement. Today, many of the world's largest platforms belong to the second category. Their goal is not simply to provide information. Their goal is to keep people watching, keep people scrolling, keep people returning. Because attention generates revenue. This changes how platforms are designed. Algorithms learn what captures attention. Algorithms learn what triggers emotion. Algorithms learn what keeps people engaged. Over time, these systems become increasingly effective, not because they understand truth, not because they understand wisdom, but because they understand behavior. And behavior is incredibly valuable, because if you can predict attention, you can influence decisions. And if you can influence decisions, you can influence society itself.
There is a difference between consuming information and thinking deeply about information. One is passive, the other is active. One requires attention, the other requires sustained attention. And sustained attention is becoming increasingly rare. Reading a book requires focus. Learning a skill requires focus. Building a business requires focus. Creating meaningful work requires focus. Yet modern life constantly interrupts attention. Messages interrupt concentration. Notifications interrupt thought. Algorithms interrupt reflection. The result is subtle, not dramatic, not immediate, but significant. Many people feel busy all day, yet accomplish very little. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack ambition, but because attention is fragmented. And fragmented attention often produces fragmented thinking.
The future may create a surprising divide, not between rich and poor, not between educated and uneducated, but between focused and distracted. Because information is becoming available to everyone. Artificial intelligence is becoming available to everyone. Technology is becoming available to everyone. But attention remains limited. The ability to focus may become one of the most valuable skills of the 21st century. While others are distracted, focused individuals will learn faster, create more, think deeper, build better, and adapt more effectively. In a world filled with noise, clarity becomes power. In a world filled with distractions, focus becomes a competitive advantage.
The biggest battle of the modern era may not be for money. It may not be for technology. It may not even be for information. It may be for attention, because attention determines what we learn, what we believe, what we create, and ultimately, who we become. Every day, countless systems compete for a piece of your focus. A few seconds here, a few minutes there, until entire years disappear. The question is not whether the world is becoming more distracting. It clearly is. The question is whether humans can adapt, because every generation faces a challenge, and perhaps this is ours, learning how to remain focused in a world designed to make us distracted.
If you enjoy documentaries about digital psychology, artificial intelligence, internet culture, the creator economy, and the future of human behavior, subscribe to Nexora, because understanding the modern world is no longer optional.
it is becoming essential. This is Nexora, inside the modern world.